This is Tom Fox, and I'd like to welcome you to Rotary Voices of Kerrville, a podcast series that shines a spotlight on the Rotary Club of Kerrville, a club with a rich history of community service, leadership, and dedication. For nearly 100 years, the Rotary Club of Kerrville has been at the heart of initiatives that make a real difference, both locally and globally. Through this podcast, we will explore the club's incredible projects, hearing from its inspiring members, and learning about the values that drive the commitment to service above self. Today, I have Kerrville City Manager Dalton Rice, who is a relatively new resident to Kerrville, having lived here just over a year, but has joined Rotary Club of Kerrville, and he talks about his experiences in Rotary. I know you'll enjoy this episode. Hello, everyone. This is Tom Fox back again for another episode. Today, I have with me Dalton Rice. Dalton, welcome to the podcast.
Hey, I appreciate being here. Thank you.
Dalton, can you tell us about your when you first got involved with Rotary?
So I first got involved in Rotary, so I've been here just over a year. And Mayor Judy Eichner at the time, she is like, come to Rotary with me. I don't even think I had started yet, or it may have been my first day. I can't remember.
I think it was actually before you started.
I think it was before I started. And she's like, you should be a part of Rotary. I said, sure, sign me up. And that's pretty much how it started. I jumped right in. I thought it was a great opportunity to, again, be a part of the community that you're serving, network with, meet other folks. And, for me, I thought it was kind of unique where it's an opportunity that I get to serve and volunteer with the community, but also get to hear and get a pulse on things that are happening within our community.
We've got the chief of police. Mm-hmm. He is a member. We have the superintendent of the Kerrville Independent School District. We have the superintendent of the Ingram Independent School District. We have multiple people from Shriner, and then local business people, a lot of retired folks. It just seems to me to be a great cross section of our community.
It is. When I first, joined Rotary and, got involved in it, a lot of community leaders, community influencers, a lot of folks in the community that just believe in what Kerrville stands for. And I thought that was amazing.
I have really enjoyed some of the presentations, yours included. I've got to make a presentation on the Texas Hill Country Podcast Network, but wanted to ask you, are there any of the speakers or presentations that either were memorable for you or just have stuck with you?
Man, that is putting me on the spot. That's a great question. There was one, they kind of went into the history of, kind of the Indian culture. That one's kind of stood out. I thought that was really, really interesting. Coincidentally, the one from Wednesday where BCFS came in, that actually really hit home. That hit home to me. I love mentoring. I love helping kids out. I think I'm actually going to reach out to, I think her name was Monica, with BCFS, and see how I can be a part of that. 1 hour a week to be able to, mentor a kid and trying to get them, onto a right path, I thought was incredible. And diving into kind of why that was memorable, real quick. Most people don't know, I barely graduated high school. I cared about the military. I wanted to go serve. And so for me at the time, I didn't care about academics. I just wanted to go overseas. And I really like to use and tell that story on my journey and path, into city management, because I went from a 2.9 GPA in high school, just on the outskirts of Houston in the ghetto, to a city manager of $142 million budget. And I love to tell that story to kids, and especially young men who are already, going through their own, challenges in their journeys, on don't let your current situation define who you are and what you want to become. And so, I did a lot of mentorship with kids back in Mont Bellevue, my old 2 cities ago. And I love the impact that you have on it, because you can shoot them straight. You can put yourself in their shoes, because I was there. And I'd say that was probably, even though it was the most recent one, I'd have to say that was probably one of the most memorable ones that definitely hit home.
A friend of mine from law school was at one point the mayor of Indianapolis, and he and I are part of a group of buddies from law school that still hang out. And I told him, this is my favorite story about Rotary. One meeting, I plopped down next to Judy Eisner, and we talked about real estate on Goat Creek Road. I said, that's what you do at Rotary. Yeah. Didn't matter if she's the mayor or not. And that's the kind of conversations that we have. We're able to keep politics, religion, kind of any thing that would get us in conflict out of those conversations and just have great conversations. Has that been your experience?
100%. I'll have people come up to me all the time, hey, I want to talk about the city. Like, I know you're at Rotary. I'm like, this is my job. Like, it's a lifestyle. It's not a career. It's a lifestyle. If my wife and I and the family don't want to talk to people, when we go out, we go to another city. We don't stay local. Funny story. My wife and I went to Ringo's on the Water. Go and enjoy some beverages and just the atmosphere and stuff. And I think we walked in there one night, and it took us like 20 minutes just to get to our seat because the entire way there, I knew people, all the way. And so I love that about Kerrville is no matter where I go, we get to talk about it, and I'll talk to anybody about the city stuff at any point in time. It doesn't matter. Because a lot of the times people just want to be heard. People have a question, and you know what? 9 out of 10 times we can have it answered, or we have such a great team that, most people have my cell phone number. Shoot me a text if you got a question. We're going to pass you off to the right department, and they're going to get it answered pretty quickly. And so I think that's the level of customer service that we do all expect. And Rotary is just another great avenue that I can kind of get a pulse on, things that are happening in the community.
I meant to say this earlier, but probably the presentation I enjoyed the most was the story about the last jaguar killed in Texas, leading to the discussion about mountain lions.
I do remember that one. Yeah, that was an interesting one.
But the other thing about Rotary is service.
Yes.
And the service opportunities are as broad and as vast as watering trees. I checked in people at the triathlon. We just had a fundraiser to raise money to fight polio. We do Christmas, we do Thanksgiving, we do Veterans Day, we do Easter, we do the 4th of July. And the breadth and scope of what's available in terms of services, it's literally anything you want.
It is, and there's sometimes, Rotary specific where I'm like, I wish I could do more, and I try to balance all that. I was talking to a few people, different events, not just Rotary, and people are like, how do you do it all? And I'm like, I don't know, but I definitely wish I had a clone. And so we try to do as much as we can. And, it's tough because we do have a lot of after work activities, from the city side. And, this evening for Halloween, we have, Fright Night from, 5:30 to, 8 or whatever it is. And so there's so many city events, and I can't even be at them all. But we try to balance it and we try to just keep that service going. Rotary's been a great example of that. I try to serve on other local boards as much as my bandwidth, will allow me to. And it's a tough balance.
Well, Dalton, I appreciate you taking the time to visit with me, and I look forward to seeing you at our next meeting.
See you at the next Rotary.
This is Tom Fox again. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Rotary Voices of Kerrville. I hope you will join us again for our next episode where we highlight another member of the Rotary Club of Kerrville. Thanks so much for listening. This podcast is a production of the Texas Hill Country Podcast Network.